This morning, Energy Secretary Chris Wright says the Navy will begin escorting ships through the Strait of Hormuz as soon as military assets in the region are able to direct their attention away from Iran's retaliatory strikes on neighboring countries. Now, those comments come after a critical moment because we just found out that two of the world's largest shipping companies have announced that they are no longer accepting cargo bound for the Persian Gulf because of the war. This war with Iran clearly taking a toll on a lot, including oil prices, sending U.S. gas prices soaring. Gas prices are now at an average of more than $3.30 per gallon, the highest that they have been at any point in either of Trump's presidencies. And as we've just heard, President Trump is talking about it, telling Dana Bash he thinks it's okay because he says they'll eventually come down. Joining me right now is Natasha Sarin, president and co-founder of the Budget Lab at Yale. Put a pin on that because because of the breaking news with the jobs report that just came out, Natasha, I did want to ask you about that. The U.S. losing 92,000 jobs last month, a surprising downturn here. What do you see in it, and what does it say about the overall jobs picture? Because this is, it's a look back. It has nothing to do with this war now. So give us some perspective.
In some sense, what we're seeing is that this jobs report was a miss. It was a 92,000 jobs lost relative to what was expected to be around a 50,000 gain number. And if you take in collection what we've learned about the last few months in the labor market, essentially alongside the downward revisions for December and January, we now know that the labor market has essentially stalled. We're in a situation where it is across all sectors, we are not seeing jobs being added. And in some sense, that is continuing a downward trend that had been going on for several months in response to a lot of uncertainty about the way in which the economy is functioning. Probably a bunch of that has to do with the nature of tariffs being at these levels that we haven't seen in the last century. And also some of that might very well be starting to reflect the fact that artificial intelligence and this boon associated with it is going to have downstream effects in the labor market. And so we're in kind of an uncertain time. And to your point, these numbers are already out of date because they're not reflecting all that's happened in the last week as a result of this war.
Yeah, it honestly feels like all that's happened in the last 20 minutes. One of the things that is, let's talk about gas prices.
Yeah.
They're surging. Oil markets are all over the place and continue to rise. Matt Egan, our colleague, made a really good point as he was just reminding me that people were sour on the economy and saying that their cost of living was already untenable when gas prices were low. So now, what does this mean? Even though the president is trying to offer a reassuring tone, saying to Dana, saying to Reuters, he's not concerned about gas prices surging because eventually they'll go down and this matters more than some gas prices going up. What does this all mean for the current cost of living crisis?
Yeah, it means a lot. And the State of the Union now feels like ages ago, but if you recall, energy prices were kind of at the forefront of the president's response on affordability, because the idea was that, you're seeing tariffs have these massive price increases for consumers across essentially everything they buy. But in energy, you were seeing oil prices coming down and you were seeing gas prices coming down. And that's about 6% of the average household's budget. So it's significant. And now, just a few days later, you're in a situation where you've seen gas prices go up 26 cents this week. This is the largest gain in 1 week in the gas price market since the early stages of the Russia-Ukraine war. These are really significant consequences that are already being felt by consumers at the pump. And the nature of gas prices is really interesting because as oil prices rise, those increases fall through to consumers basically immediately. But any decreases in prices that are going to come down the road, even if they do come as the president attests, are going to take time to downstream to the consumer. There's a sort of rockets and feathers phenomenon in the market.
I want to ask you, just like leading on your past experience in working in administrations, the Strait of Hormuz in general, it means what to the U.S. economy? If it's shut down, if Maersk is like, we're not taking on any more cargo, I know obviously people hope and believe it's temporary, but if there is still this threat hanging over that your ships are going to get attacked and you can't get insurance, people aren't going to be shipping things through the Strait of Hormuz.
20% of global oil flows through this incredibly narrow passageway.
And so does a lot of food, I'm now learning. Yeah.
So this is like so immensely significant to our national security. And it's actually part of what I don't think has gotten as much attention as it should in this particular moment is energy security is national security. And you've seen this administration lambast things like wind power or solar power. But one of the benefits of a shift to renewables is it actually removes you from being at these types of moments where this incredibly volatile market is exposed to the types of risks that come from this type of geopolitical uncertainty. And the thing is, like, this is an administration who for some time was saying they'd like to see oil prices down to $50 a barrel, and that would be a way to curb inflation. We're now in a situation where oil prices are edging up towards, and analysts think a prolonged closure of the Strait of Hormuz could mean oil prices around $100 a barrel or more. That is hugely significant, and we frankly do not have the capacity in a moment when so much is so unaffordable for so many to be in this type of a situation.
Yeah, the trickle down is, it's a huge blow. Natasha, it's great to have you here. Thank you for running through some of all that's coming in. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Sarah?